Hello guys, and welcome to the very, very special Russian football news Confederations Cup Predictions League. I know you've had withdrawal symptoms from the 2016-2017 Predictions League season finishing, but don't worry, we are back. We've got your backs covered. Now, Confederations Cup starts on Friday, so what we're going to do is very simply run the Predictions League on a simple basis. We will just be doing an accumulative point game for those of you who played last time, the main game that we play, and we'll run a leaderboard and a main spreadsheet. That's all we'll do because there's not many games to go. So, guys, look, what we're going to do is this is going to be a taster for next season's Predictions League, and don't forget it starts early. Next season starts on, I believe, the 17th of July. This is of course because the World Cup next summer means that all the domestic leagues need to finish a bit earlier. Now, bearing in mind that's only in 6 weeks' time, so this game will run up until about 3 weeks before the season. So the idea is, guys, we want to give you something to do. If you've never played this game before, get involved. It's a lot of fun. Now, we're running this through the Russian Football News website because obviously the game is based in Russia. The Confederations Cup is based in Russia, but this is for anybody at all. I don't believe there's a game exactly the same out there because all you have to do is dead simple. You just have to predict the score of each game, and we do the rest. So you have to predict the exact scoreline. If you say 3-0, for example, let's say Russia against New Zealand, the opening game on Saturday. If you predict 3-0 and the result is 3-0, you get 3 points for a perfect score. If you predict Russia will win 3-0, and they do win, but not by 3-0, so 2-0 or 4-0, then you get 1 point, and if New Zealand draw or New Zealand win, you get 0. It's as simple as that. We add up the points, whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Okay, simple. Now, on the RussianFootballNews.com website, there is an article where I've explained this, and I've done a little written preview, just a brief preview of each team, just to give you an idea and a feel for how those squads are shaping up. But anyhow, guys, this video, I'm going to run through my preview of the first 4 games. Now, for the domestic season, what we do is we do each game week. For this, we will do each round. So there are 8 teams playing, there's 4 games in each round, and we'll do a preview video for each round. And then when the groups finish, we'll do one more preview for the knockout stages. Okay? So, without further ado, the first kickoff. That is on Saturday, 4 p.m. UK time. That's 6 p.m. local time in St. Petersburg. Russia facing New Zealand. Well, New Zealand are the lowest ranked side in the competition. They're 95th according to FIFA. Although that actually involves 2 significant climbs up the rankings in the last few months. So it really does point to this being one of the most mismatched games in the tournament. It is the opening game as well, so there's going to be a lot of backing for Russia. And New Zealand, well, they lost to Northern Ireland in their warm-up friendly in Belfast. They then bizarrely played a second division Republic of Ireland club side, Cabinteely, and beat them 5-2. Before I recorded this, they were about to play Belarus on Tuesday. So I don't know what the result of that is as I record this. However, the point is that New Zealand don't have the pedigree. They don't have a great deal of deep experience, although they do have a lot of international experience on their books, and by that I mean where their players ply their trade. Almost all of them play outside New Zealand, outside the A-League even, I should say. So they're a tough side. They have Chris Wood up front, star player, top scorer in the English Championship, for Leeds United, 26 goals, which is a very, very impressive feat in one of the most difficult leagues in the world. However, they're facing Russia. And Russia are on an upturn of fortune. Never thought I'd say this. They beat Hungary away 3-0. Fyodor Smolov scored an absolutely spectacular individual goal from his own half. Just tore through their defence. I mean, to put it in context, though, Hungary really were a weakened side. And they, a few days later, lost to Andorra. The first time Andorra had even won a competitive game in I think it was 66 fixtures, running back 13 years, and only their second ever competitive win. So, you know, it's 3-0 away from home sounds good, but it was against Hungary. However, it was a good display. Stanislav Cherchesov is rotating the side a bit. He is still slightly experimenting. It's not to everybody's tastes, but personally I'm in favour of the attacking intent he has. He played Alexander Samedov, Igor Smolnikov, and Dmitry Kombarov, so a lot of width in that side, and they looked pretty good. And against Chile, drew 1-1. Victor Vassin made a horrendous mistake in the Moscow derby a few weeks ago, but he scored a brilliant header, absolutely fantastic header. And admittedly, Alexis Sanchez wasn't starting, but a very experienced side. Arturo Vidal, Gary Medel got his 100th cap. So to draw 1-1 with Chile, the 4th best team in the world according to FIFA, very impressive result. So, prediction. Well, there's only one result I could possibly predict. So obviously I'm going for a Russia win. The question is how many goals, and actually that's where the hard part comes in. You know, it's tempting to go for a big score like 5 or 6-0, but I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring win. I think it will be a comfortable, routine win. Because there's not the intensity of playing a top side, I don't think they're going to push on and go for 4, 5, 6 goals. So I'm actually only going to go for 2-0. Now, of course, the possibility is there for Russia to rack up 5 or 6 goals. They have the ability, no question. But I just think the occasion, the lack of urgency perhaps, is and the fact that New Zealand are not a terrible side at holding out. They often have to play as the distinct underdogs. So I'm going to go for 2-0. So anyway, that's what I think. Moving on, second game of the tournament. On Sunday, 18th of June, 4 o'clock UK time again, we have Portugal against Mexico. So this is a Group A match. Russia, New Zealand, Portugal and Mexico in Group A. Portugal, European champions, of course, so they will be favourites to win this group. Mexico as well have a Gold Cup tournament coming up in July, so they have a lot of fixtures coming along. Now, I've been told that they are likely to prioritise the Confederations Cup, which I'm slightly surprised at, given that it doesn't usually have the standing of, for example, a Gold Cup, a regional tournament. However, Mexico have an exceptionally experienced squad. They actually have more caps than any other national squad in the Confederations Cup. They've got 1,132 caps between all of their players, which works out at about 49 caps average per player. So experience is there. Portugal, well, of course, this is the year, the 18 months of Cristiano, and you know who would bet against him, claiming yet more silverware. Portugal, they are scoring goals for fun. They scored 22 goals in the last 5 competitive games. They did lose to Switzerland, I think it was, in a friendly, and in March that was. But they've got Cristiano Ronaldo. He's scored something like 73 goals internationally. Portugal's all-time top goal scorer, unsurprisingly, and they have a wealth of talent too. Now, it's quite a tough game to call this because I'm not entirely sure. Again, this is where this Predictions League will be most interesting, because you've got to judge how seriously the different nations are going to take this tournament. It's a tough one. I'm going to go for a Portugal win in this one. Personally, I think it will be very close. I don't think there's going to be, again, I don't think it will be high scoring. This game is taking place in Kazan, the furthest east of the Confederations Cup venues. A brilliant stadium, but it is quite high, so the relative conditions should be sheltered if it's very hot, and that might surprise a few people if you're watching, seeing how much sunshine there will be in this Confederations Cup. So Portugal, I think, are going to win. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Portugal. I'm going for both teams to score simply because I'm not entirely sure how this game will pan out and how the teams will be selected. But anyhow, guys, that's Group A, the first 2 games. I'm just going to brief interlude to the predictions here, just to plug a little bit of the website's work. There's going to be, in the next couple of days, a podcast, special podcast recorded where we've got specialists from each of the countries that Russia will be playing. So we've got experts from Portugal, Mexico, and New Zealand who will be coming on to talk to us and give us the lowdown on their teams. So keep your ears peeled for that. That will probably be out on the website, I would imagine, around the end of the week. Thursday, possibly Friday, depends on editing process. But that's going to be really interesting to listen to. First-hand advice from experts in those countries. So guys, definitely keep your ears peeled for that. Okay, moving on to Group B. Later on Sunday, we have... after the Portugal game, Cameroon against Chile. This will take place in the Equator Arena in Moscow. And Cameroon's squad, well, it is one of the least experienced squads they've called up. Most of their big names that you may well recognise, you may well know from European games perhaps, most of them will be missing. In fact, they only have about 350 caps across the whole squad. Now, in their... one of the absentees from their squad, I find quite interesting, is Alex Song, the Rubin Kazan midfielder, their highest profile player this far east in Europe, shall we say. They, like I say, don't have a very experienced squad, but they have come off the back of an African Cup of Nations win. They've now won 5 African Cup of Nations, only just behind Egypt, who are the most successful African international side with 7 wins. But, like I say, their squad looks desperately lacking in experience. And Chile, in contrast, are exceptionally experienced. They have got pretty much their full-strength squad. I mentioned earlier, Mexico have got 1,132 caps. Chile are only 10 short of that, 1,122. They have Alexis Sanchez. They have Gary Medel in defence. Like I said, he got 100 caps. In fact, I believe I'm right in saying that in their squad they have about 4 players who've got at least 100 caps. Gonzalo Jara, who played in England, of course. Alexis Sanchez... well, he's the star man, isn't he? He was rested from the starting lineup of the Russia game, so he probably will come into this game, I would imagine. I'm pretty sure Chile will win this one, and I don't think they'll find too much resistance. I'm going for certainly a Chile win. Scoreline, I don't see Chile conceding. Vincent Aboubakar is Cameroon's most dangerous player, playing in Turkey, but against a backline that is very experienced, very well drilled, I don't see them scoring. So I'm going to go for a Chile 1-0 win. Okay, and finally moving on to our last game, we have Australia against Germany. Australia against Germany. This is taking place in Sochi, the Olympic Stadium, the fished Olympic Stadium in Sochi, a magnificent venue. And check out the Russian Football News Instagram account, just at Russ Football News. There are some pictures up already. I'll add some more in the coming days. That's something we've actually revived recently, by the way, guys. So definitely, if you're on Instagram, follow us there at Russ Football News. We will have pictures posted, original pictures, some pictures we've got through the media, but any of our team that are at any games will hopefully get some pictures up. And we've got our own Thomas Giles, Danny Armstrong, Ilya Sokolov, Andrew Weiser, myself. And so we've got a lot of us going to games. Definitely keep your eyes. Sochi is one of them. Thomas Giles, I believe, will be there, but I don't know exactly which date. He'll be at one of the games. Anyhow, Australia, Germany. Well, Germany are the world champions. So, and Australia, they're struggling very, very much so in their Asian qualifying group for the World Cup. They're level on points with Japan and Saudi Arabia, but Japan have a game in hand, and there are only 2 spots in that group that go automatically to the World Cup. However, Germany do have an exceptionally inexperienced side. They only have 180 caps across their whole squad. None of them have more than 30, and only 2 have more than 16 caps. So it's going to be a young, exciting side, but lacking in experience. I still can't quite see Australia pulling it off. They are very solid. They have drawn 4 of their last 6 games, but I think Germany are going to win, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 to Germany win. Anyhow, guys, I hope you enjoyed the preview. Follow everything on Facebook page, and comment below and get going. I hope you enjoy it, guys, and I'll see you back for more. Bye-bye.